morning. Can hear me? I guess they can hear me.
Abdul waitwa. Tengeza mic vizuri please. Airos.
Iko sawa? Doing right.
Kazi yake tu ni kunismailia. Sometimes I feel like laughing. Yes.
I say hi to you. Yeah.
Do you know Airo?
We've not been on. I've not been on him on set before.
I've been with this great man.
Oh, on set. Great, great.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. Welcome to the Sabah show. This is the round table with me, Shahada. We are coming to you live from the heart of the city center, located at Jamia Mosque. This is Horizon TV, the premier Islamic station. Now, as you all know, on the round table, we discuss very pertinent and thorny issues in our society. But before that, let's look at stories making the top headlines in the country and, of course, around the globe. And I cannot do this alone. I have with me Edwin here, who is a political analyst, and then I have with me Abdul Hakim Kigan, who is an economist, and I have with me Munene, who is a blogger and PR consultant. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Ready for the day?
Absolutely.
Ready to analyze what's happening in our country?
Absolutely.
Okay, now going to the Star, the headline is 4 presidents to unveil Raila's handshake baby. KPA MD Daniel Manduku says the project has potential to dramatically change the fortunes of the Lake City. Now moving on to page 4, 4 presidents to unveil Raila's handshake baby. So we have 4 presidents from East Africa set to launch the 3 billion Kisumu port, one of the biggest projects initiated in Western Kenya after the handshake. And we all know Western Kenya. Who does it belong to? Of course, opposition. And now that they had the handshake, what do you think about it?
Well, it's a great thing. But the sad story is that why should it happen only when you are siding with the government? Because the government of the day is supposed to serve those who elected you and those who didn't. So yes, it's a good thing. It's going to positively transform the economic status, especially of this Lake region. And we want now development to be spread across the country, so that those who are in the handshake and not, they should feel the government of the day. So it's a good thing, because many jobs are going to be created. We are going to, you know, get more revenue to the taxman, and that is really going to positively our economy. So it's the right step in the right direction.
It is disappointing
that development is being politicized, so to speak, because why should it be called a handshake baby? Because as long as you are a Kenyan, you deserve development, whether you did not vote for the current regime or voted for a current regime. It is not a priority. It is not something that you are being given because you're just being given. It is something that it is your right, and it's not something that you are receiving because they like you or something like that. And it's also a boost to the East African community. I think it will strengthen our relations, because we're going to do more trade.
This is a perfect opportunity for the people of Western Kenya. I'm glad for them. This goes to reiterate that anyone who is fighting the handshake is fighting development in this country, and I think it's good for the politicians and every Kenyans to join the handshake thing, because at the end of the day, we know people from the Mount Kenya region are able to do business in a more quiet, more peaceful environment, and the people of Western Kenya will get development in return. So I think it's everybody, it's a win-win situation for anyone, and anyone who is fighting the handshake is definitely fighting development. Yeah.
So basically, the best thing to happen to Kenya was the handshake.
Yes.
Are we all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Actually, in Western Kenya, the economy has been doing so badly. You look at the failed and collapsed plants and factories in Western Kenya, and you see Nyanza and Western are more like the same. But now these are Luos and these are Luyas. We have so many bad leaders in Luya land. They hardly do any constructive legislation in parliament, and they even don't make good administrative decisions, and that has led to the collapse and non-revival of these plants and factories.
I can see again there, he wants to attack you.
I don't want to attack my brother.
Yes.
But I think handshake is something that will come and go, because it is two parties. What we should have is unity, that we will involve the whole country. That is why I always advocate for the same handshake be replicated all over the country, in all the various parts, in all the various stages, so that, because what we really need as a country is unity and acceptance.
The two main political rivals in the country have united. Of course, it won't last for long, but let's enjoy the fruits of that. That being said, we know the people in Kisumu and the people in the larger Western Kenya who own the industry there that will benefit. Probably, you might say some of them are in the handshake and they are going to benefit of that. You can also say the president, we have seen his family revolving much in business, the likes of Brookside and the merging of the CBA Bank. So I think at the end of the day, the two political families are going to benefit, and that will trickle down to the common mwananchi. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the People's Daily, overwhelmed or tactical retreat. So Deputy President Ruto's latest move to declare support for handshake, halt attacks on Raila and embrace Uhuru's agenda has confounded political observers. And the story, of course, continues on page 5. Is Ruto's support for handshake tactical? Is it a tactical retreat? Because we know for the longest time Ruto was against this handshake, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, here I am and I'm ready for it. What do you think, Edwin?
Deputy President is one person I trust when it comes to having political capacity, having enough or strong shock absorbers, and he's not overwhelmed. He's just doing a tactical retreat, and at an appointed time he will spring up again. And this is Deputy President. He has advisors, and he's a very sharp and smart politician. He knows continuing against the handshake right now is not the best good decision moving forward. So he's taking some time off the so that he assesses the impact of the past decisions, so that moving forward he can make decisions appropriately moving forward, because this is one person who is going all the way to the ballot, and many Kenyans are believing in his candidature, and if now that time comes, we will make decisions, and I trust this guy. Yeah,
so right now it is just a political move to close Kenya's eyes and make him look very good in front of us.
He doesn't want to disagree with the very government that he's part of. So he's being politically correct right now. But the political bells ring, he will spring out his battalion.
But is that hypocritical? Like, why?
Hypocritical. You know, you in politics, you must know what is working for now and what work in future. So what will work for now is tactical retreat, president big for agenda, which is very personalized past Raila and Kenyatta. Will it be sustainable? And I agree with him, because we must ask ourselves, as this handshake headed to the people, are embodying this handshake, or they see handshake when Raila and Kenyatta are together? Because past the, what is it? Many of us don't understand the handshake, because there are so many gray areas in this handshake. We see it as a tool to bring opposition to satisfy somebody, not even necessarily to reduce the burden. So we must embody the handshake. Kenyatta must bring it to us, so that when he goes, we'll still talk about the handshake. But if he goes and Raila goes, we forget about it and we start to think about other things. And that's why DP comes into.
Again.
Publicity is very key when it comes to politics. I think His Excellency played his game in as much as publicity is concerned. Because look at it this way. What if he had supported handshake from the start? He couldn't have gathered the storm that he has gathered of late. You see? And, for me, that is just it's just the pawns of politics, so to speak. But for the handshake, it has been a year and 5 months thereabout. But to me, the handshake has not translated really into development. It has translated into political ambience, and there is calm, and people can just stay in peace. But then it hasn't really translated to development as earlier envisioned.
I think with
there's no good or bad publicity. What are your thoughts?
Of course. With that being in the famous words of the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, the Deputy President currently tsunami, he is at the and the of tsunami. And what is going to happen, if you remember, during the 2010 elections, he went against the establishment. We know what happened to him. He miserably failed that. He thought he was a political kingmaker. He thought that he was going to lead this country, and he lost that. What is going to happen right now? He is fighting the establishment. And at the end of the day, what I believe, 2022, the president of this country will end up being the Prime Minister in Parliament, in the National Assembly. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga will be the ceremonial president. His Excellency the Deputy President will sit on the opposite side of the National Assembly. And the words that Mr. Kenyatta said during the burial of Mr. Ntimama, sisi tunakula nyama, wewe ukimeza mate. Deputy William Ruto will be the one who will be kumeza mate on the other side.
I think that one will not go unchallenged, because you see, the an astute politician, and he is a king. Deputy President, the man behind the Raila's 2007 victory, the man behind 2013 Uhuru victory. Without DP, these two would not seen.
So he's victory. Playing very safe. He's on this. His one leg is here and the other leg is here.
Yes, and
so that whoever is in the game, he's there too.
No, in fact, DP is charging his way forward. Okay. So troops will follow, and the Deputy President is epitomizing the struggle young people are going through, and he's appealing to young people. The more the system appears to be fighting him, the more traction he gains, because we know Kenyans. They are very empathetic. We like to sympathize, to empathize, you know. So when you hit this guy and he comes to us and say, these guys are hitting me because I struggle the same way you struggle, you know, you play. And and by the end of the road, you're going to get that many young are subscribing to his ideologies and will be there because we have the numbers.
I really like my friend here, Munene.
Yes.
And you know, when you look at politics with the naked eye, you'll see madness. But when you look at it with the third eye, you'll see some mega moves. You know, Deputy President didn't say no to the 2010 referendum so that he could win with a no. No. In fact, that was a stepping stone for him because he garnered. That was a stepping stone for him. He didn't go in so as to win. He went in so that it would be a propulsion to his politics.
And actually, he didn't even have much money then.
If you say what you're saying, my brothers are saying it was a political stepstone for him. I think this time he has miserably failed in that. And I will completely disagree with what you said, because there can't be the development without the political ambience and that kind of a thing. And at the end of the day, when you say the deputy president has troops that will follow him, I don't know which troops you're talking about, because the only people following him are the first time MP. What happens to first time political MPs? And then at the end of the day, most of them come from Mount Kenya region supporting him. And you know, as a member of parliament in Mount Kenya, it's like a miracle to someone. So I think Mr. Deputy President is being misled by the deputy young political inexperienced plea. And what I think is currently is a very young man. I think he should just follow the people ahead of him. He should follow the two political kingmakers in this country, just like as Moi did to Kenyatta. During the last years of Kenyatta, the former president Moi followed him to the letter as the vice president. So I think even we have seen this with Mr. Kenyatta and Mr. Moi Kibaki.
But when he was history of political game continues to get dirty.
Yes, and there is no one who has been elected president first time trial. Kibaki tried 2 times during the 92 and 97, he failed. Kenyatta tried during 2002, he failed.
Kigan, do you want to interject?
I want to interject. And it's very disappointing that my brother is speaking like this and he himself, he's a youth. You know, when I want to say this, you know, affirmatively, that experience is not a factor of time. You know, experience is not a factor of time, because you can be 70 years old with 1 year experience and like with 20 years of experience. When you say that we have these young first-time MPs who are mislead, first-time young MPs were elected by people in their various constituencies. And that speaks a lot, because they are representing numbers of people. And they have the right to chant away for their people because they are leaders, and not because they can't. You can't tell me that they can't chant away for their people just because that they are young. You can't tell us that young people should just follow suit on old people, on senior people, just follow them like that blindly just because of they are young, that they are older than them. Age is not a factor of wisdom, and age is not a factor of experience necessarily.
But again, there is the aspect of complacency.
Yes.
And these youthful MPs, you know, they have a way of appealing to us young people. And when you overcome the risk of complacency, then the odds of winning go so high. So I believe the DP has marshaled his troop. You know, when you are a very smart and sharp guy, you constitute a team that is equal to the task. And that's what the DP is doing. And when the DP rolls out his campaign, you'll be surprised to see the wave that it will take. Because this guy, he shows us it can be done. And it can be done if you step up. So when he steps up, young people will be there to back him up. And we are ready. We are ready. Let him bring forth this
candidate. We have already understood your stand, and we know everything. We'll have to take a short break. We'll come back to this. Okay. So we'll be taking a short break. Remember, this is the Sabah Show. You can reach us out on social media. That is at Horizon on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
kumwambia mwenzako nyamaza na wewe ushasema pia.
Ushasema.
Ukimwambia wewe nyamaza bwana, watu hutuba endelea na wewe utakuwa ushasema. Tumesema faman lagha wa man lagha fala jum'ata lahu. Mwenye kuleta upuzi wa maneno jambo lote hakuna Ijumaa. Kwa hivyo mtu ameingia imeasikize hutuba hata kama lugha haielewi. Akete sikilize, ndio wasio mtume kwamba ansitu sami'un la'allakum turhamun. Msikilize ile khutba mtarehemewa na Mwenyezi Mungu.
Itikadi zao kwamba Lailatul Qadr ni tarehe 27 basi. Wanasahau kwamba Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam anasema ikiwa unahitaji kupata fadhila huo usiku, chagua katika zile autar, katika idadi za witri, kwa sababu wengi katika maulama wanasema ule usiku hauitu usiku mmoja, ikipishana. Huenda mwakani ikaunga tarehe 21 usiku wake, mwaka ujao utaunga tarehe 23. Kwa hivyo Lailatul Qadr inaenda ikipishana.
on the next episode,
Umar vile vile miswali fajr, akimwona Abubakar anamwambia jana mimi usiku sikulala vizuri. Usiku mzima nilikuwa nakufikiria wewe Saidna Abubakar. Njoo nikupiga makamo. Njoo nikukumbatie. Saidna Abubakar Umar akamkumbatia Saidna Abubakar. Mapenzi kati ya masahaba yalikuwa kweli, watu wanapendana.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema akasisitiza akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Ukuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories, ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha. Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to the Sabah show. This is the round table and the hashtag stands the round table. You can reach us out on social media, that is at Horizontv Kenya on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. This is Horizon TV, the premier Islamic station. And we were talking about the stories making the headlines and the set was on fire. But we need to leave that story and move on to the next stories in the country. So on the standard we have governors panic as court hits Waititu. Other county bosses with pending criminal cases have reasons to worry after judge suspends and bars Kiambu boss from transacting any official business or setting foot in office. And this story continues on page 8. Is this a wake-up call?
Yeah, it is. It is. Right now, you move into county bosses' offices and you see how panic is taking center stage. And we really commend the work the DCI and the DPP are doing, and also the EACC, and we are really supporting them and praying for them and hoping that all will be well. However, we place these precautionary measure or advice that when cases are being investigated, let it be logical and objective, so that somebody is taken to court for a crime that will stand the test and will go all the way through the prosecution time, so that there isn't malice in this process. Because right now, like, you're taken out, you have to step aside, receive pay, you can't transact anything in your office, and so we really need objectivity and professionalism, which the officers of the DP, EACC and the DCI are well capable of. So people must know that this is a new Kenya, and you mess with public offers, we must deal with you
So
in accordance with the law.
Yes,
yes.
I think it goes without saying that corruption in Kenya is milking us dry. And for that reason, anything that shoots up from the Office of the Auditor General or any other thing that shoots up that proves that there is some cooking that is going on, it must be investigated and prosecuted thereafter. But one thing that we really need to look into seriously with the DPP and the EC and the DCI working hand in hand, and together with the judiciary is the time that this process takes. Because if we can shorten this process to a time where if you are being investigated, you step aside, they prosecute you, you are found if you are guilty or not guilty, it happens. The steps are taken afterwards. If you are not guilty, to your office immediately. So the conversing is to shorten the time.
I completely agree with what they are saying about supporting DCI and DCC. What I don't agree with the decision of the court and the High Court of the Republic of Kenya. The court doesn't have jurisdiction to dismiss an elected member of parliament, either be in the governors, any elected official in the country. What they have, let me explain myself. When the case of C.S. Rotich, and even if we go back the case of C.S. Ngilu, when they were dismissed during the first time, the 2015 EACC list of shame that the president read in parliament, the governors that were mentioned in that, the president could not dismiss them. Why? He doesn't have the authority, the powers and the jurisdiction to dismiss any elected official. The same thing happens currently, right now. It's a constitutional question, and I think this things that should be looked into account. The governor, any elected official, be an MP, be an MCA, draws their powers from the people, from the will of the people. The only person who has the authority to dismiss them is the people who voted them in. So to dismiss an elected member, for this case, the governor of Kiambu, the only way to dismiss an elected member is through the political way. What should happen? The only way, the people of Kiambu should tell their MCAs they want to push their governor. What will go ahead? The MCAs of Kiambu will move a motion to move their governor from office. That's why the case shall go on. But that cannot be settled in the court. The same goes with what happens with Governor Wambora. When the first time he was being removed from office, the Court of Appeal said there is a mechanism for removing elected members. For members of parliament, the National Assembly, we have the article that says in the Constitution, the constituents that voted him, the member of parliament, can recall. They can sign in and recall him back so that election can be held. If he has a case, he can go to court. So what I think in this case, the court has no jurisdiction. Is a very bad precedent that we are setting, because what will happen, the people of Kiambu voted to have Governor Waitito in place. Now it's not their will that he is not their governor anymore. If he is deemed not to have committed the crimes, will his term be extended? How will he be compensated? He won't be compensated money-wise. He needs political compensation.
Very, very briefly, Edwin, before we go to the next story.
Yeah, I think my colleague has really advanced an argument that I feel is not well supported in facts, because when President was speaking during his State of the Nation address, he directive that anybody mentioned adversely in corruption, and the executive, the role is to form your policies. The role of the judiciary is to interpret policies and law. So when Justice Mumbingugi ruled, the elected officials was taken to court, they must decide. That is sitting well within the confines of the Constitution, and she even faulted a constitutional provision, which now begs the question of that clause needs to be amended when it exhausts all the legal interpretational mechanisms. Again, look look at this. We cannot talk about you stepping aside and then we add you more time. Because first of all, you need to be above board. You need to be very meticulous as a leader, because the responsibility bestowed on you to serve the people. And therefore, when you mention, and I agree when my colleague and I said this, that we need timelines within which these economic crimes are prosecuted, so that when, like Waitito right now is in court, we know in 1.5 years to come, the verdict will be delivered. So we must be very categorical in the fight against corruption, and therefore the court is seeing where in its jurisdiction to ask these elected leaders to step aside, not to fire them, but to step aside. They surely must step aside. Yes, done. Because we can't
thank you so much for that, Edwin. I know you love politics here, but now moving on to human interest stories. So we have on the Daily Nation page, 3 women thrive in long distance truck driving field. So courage, charisma, and excellence at work has enabled them to retain jobs. So what a man can do, a woman can do better, Edwin.
Yeah, I believe in the girl power. Our women are so determined, hardworking, and when they set to do something that is extraordinary, they do it to their very best. And this is just one of the cases that epitomize the strength and the tenacity of our women. They are proving they can do this, and I just give a thumbs up to them, and I just congratulations and let them keep working.
Kigan, what do you feel when you see a woman, rising in a field that was, and is still dominated by the men?
Equal, and some step it up to even say that what can do a woman better.
That is I quoted.
And you approve of sentiments, you share sentiments, but I don't think it should be introduced if it's true, because reporting it in the first place tells us that it's abnormal. If it's true,
it has
not be reported as something abnormal. Rather, for me, it's not something strange. When you report it as something abnormal, it takes us some steps back in saying that men are.
I disagree with you, because for a long time women in this country, women in the great Africa have been on the margins of leaderships, and they have only been relegated to being in the kitchen. What I'll comment about this story is that, do we have the policy to support women to take up these positions that considered as for men? Because when you have you're hauling a truck from Mombasa, let's say, up to DRC, what's the security situation for that woman? Is she safe? Is she secure? There are sexual predators, there are other predators who want to just mug her, take away the vehicle, steal a job from her. A policy all over the economic sector to support women, so that we saw the other thing happening, I think yesterday, when the member of parliament, the women rep from one of the coastal counties, walked in with her baby in parliament, and she was asked to go out. So do you have a policy to support women who are coming up in leadership and women who are taking these jobs that were taken up into positions? I think that's the question you should be begging, because they might take the risk, they must be the first to take up the risk, but is there a policy, is there an institution to support them? Yeah.
I think this has just stirred up something right now, and when you look at a woman, and in any organization, even in the political world, a woman, it's very hard for her to climb up the ladder. You meet CEOs, the biggest of them, and when you listen to their journey, they have always been
of course, because women will be judged like they will need to go and start families. For lactating mothers, what will happen to them? Women who are not married, the issue of being married will come up. Women there is a lot of the things that go on with women. Probably some we can't mention here, but we know what like we can say women need special support. They can do it, but at the end of the day, because of how nature created us, we need them to we need special policy, special support to support them up. And I think, women probably in some cases they do better jobs.
Women should be respected. Some men, when they look at women who have achieved greater heights, they look at them and say they slept their way up there. you know. And it's so unfair when you say such toxic statements. Women should really be respected. And I think today in 2019, I don't think it should really be a conversation of gender. It rather should be a conversation of quality. Because I am a man and here is a lady. The lady brings her A game, I bring my A game. If her A game is better than my A game, I go home, period.
I think look at people like Charity Ngilu, look at people like Rita Kavashe, look at people like Tabitha Karanja, you know, Hillary Clinton, Theresa May, Angela Merkel. These are women who've made a mark in this world. They've done tremendous things that have left an indelible mark. And right now, we're not even talking about affirmative action. I think affirmative action is now outdated, because walk into these offices, look at the strategic positions, the people holding those strategic positions, they are ladies. And when you give a lady a responsibility and a task to perform to their very best, they do it in a way that they'll never do again. So our are stepping up. Our women know what they're supposed to do, and they are coming out so confidently. In 2013, we had 0 women elected as governor. In 2017, we had 3. God rest the soul of Governor Laboso. And in 2022, you're likely to see more women stepping up into positions of governor. And what is just remaining is to have 50 women in cabinet, and then we have a woman running as president, and she wins. Those are the only things.
You really seem to be enjoying this conversation.
For me, I don't believe in having a lady, like for example, let's say for example of an MP, me having a woman MP just because she's a woman. No, I want to have a woman MP because she's the best and just happens to be a woman. And not that she's there because she's a woman. I want her to be the best and just happen to be a woman.
I think sorry for that, we should not digress from the topic, end up being purporting up feminism ideas in this, because at the end of the day, we want to encourage women to rise to the occasion, but at the end of the day, the African context is projected, the African culture as a paternity culture. The male is the head in everything. So when women there's opportunities to head up, so are we relegating the opportunities for the man? Do we end up leaving the man outside the house and the lady can go and earn? So I think it's a very delicate issue when you go to the details of it in the context of the African culture. Because if you go abroad, it's okay for a lady to go and earn. We have stay-at-home dads who just stay at home and take care of the baby.
Let me just bring in some Islam here. What we believe in Islam, we believe that the head of the family, yes, is the man. The man needs to provide for his family, but at the same time, it does not restrict the woman, you know, into going into the world, you know, pursuing her career. She can also contribute to the house, but the sole responsibility lies on the man. And you know, we'll be taking a short break, and I'd like to repeat what Keegan said, that it's just not about having, you know, women who are our political leaders, but how about looking at a man and a woman and seeing what are they bringing to the table. Well, this is the round table. Now we'll be taking a short break. Stay tuned.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
kumwambia mwenzako nyamaza, na wewe ushasema pia.
Ushasema.
Ukimwambia wewe nyamaza bwana, watu hutuba endelea, na wewe utakuwa ushasema. Tumesema faman lagha wa man lagha fala jum'ata lahu. Mwenye kuleta upuzo maana hakuna Ijumaa. Kwa hiyo mtu ameingia takanyamaza kimya, asikize hutuba hata kama lugha haielewi, akete wasiwe mtume kwamba ansitu wastami'u la'allakum turhamun. Musikilize kusikiliza ile khutba mtarehemewa na Mwenyezi Mungu.
Kuna wale ambao itikadi zao kwamba Lailatul Qadr ni tarehe 27 basi. Wanasahau kwamba Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam anasema ikiwa unahitaji kupata fadhila huo usiku, chagua katika zile autar, katika idadi za witri, kwa sababu wengi katika maulama wanasema ule usiku hauitu usiku mmoja, bali nenda ikipishana. Huenda mwakani ikaanguka tarehe 21 usiku wake, mwaka ujao utaanguka tarehe 23. Kwa hivyo Lailatul Qadr inaenda ikipishana.
Horizontv, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the last segment of the newspaper review. Now back to the Daily Nation. We have another story: increase in second, a headache for Baringo authorities. Trend attributable to high consumption of illicit brews by youth and the elderly. Now we are saying the sexual abuse is because of illicit brews, and then also in this same article, when I read, it was saying that because the girls are mature, after undergoing FGM, that is why for them it's not such a big problem, and this is leading to them having this sexual violation taking place. Kigen.
It is disappointing coming from Baringo County myself. But first and foremost, I think there is a little bit of misinformation in that statement. FGM has been very much fought, and I think it's only 1%. The brew and drinking is really people lose their minds, and they start pouncing on young girls who are from school. And I think what way forward is setting some very strict measures. In that when somebody is caught doing such despicable things, I mean the action that is taken itakuwa ni funzo kwa wenye tabia kama hizo. But now at the end of the day we have to come to reality down there. Because you find sometimes that when there is collusion in that when somebody is arrested because of such thing, he's out there tomorrow morning, and then now we have the out of court settlement where they start paying the family, and it encourages that thing, because at the end of the day they see that this person committed this atrocity, but then at the end of the day just running out there. And we should not also forget the conversation around so many girls are being molested, girls and boys in equal measure, and many of them don't have the strength to come out here. So we should bring the conversation towards community mentors and community counselors who can really look out for such issues, because not everybody has the strength to go out there and speak on such issues. Because trust me, if there are 50% cases that have been reported, trust me, more than that 50%, because the cases which are not reported.
It's a very unfortunate instances there. The statistics have shown that the trend has been really on the rise, latest with the year 2018. We have defilement, we have incest. This illicit brew is really causing a lot of damage, not just because it even treats these very, very unthinkable cases, but also it causes some health damage, because that's the way it's prepared. I think it's very prepared in very awkward circumstances, and so it's actually a very bad thing. So the government needs to regulate more. The and sub-chiefs need to be more vigilant, and they don't need to tolerate this, because the national government position is not have illicit brewing because of the process, and these kids are red, and it causes some psychological disorder, and later there is that aspect of, you know, retaliation, isolation, alienation. They feel like they are not worth being in the society given what happened to them, and many of them choose even not married because they have that fear.
Yeah, it's the stigma that lives with them. And just noting on the Standard page 10, we have rugby men in rape case found guilty. Suspects deny sexual offense and insist sex was consensual. Now, being same topic, we're talking about how rape is taking place, sexual abuse. You find even kids, you know, they're just left to go. Yeah, so you can rape it was even in the news, a man raped a woman, I think it was a girl, and after 15 and what is 15 years? Is that going to bring back the girl that
let me go back to the story, because I've spent a year now within the community, and it's culturally, historically, Kigan maybe can agree with me, this pastoral but currently with education, with affirmative action, with government going there, educating the wazes there and the larger community, people know it's illegal to indulge yourself with an underage child. But people go and get involved in this illicit brews to justify what the act that they are going to commit, because in your conscience you know it's bad that the government will go against you, but you want to go and justify what you're doing. Coming back to this rugby case, it's very fortunate. Let's say this thing happened in the confines of where people have access to social media. The lady who the act was done upon was able to prosecute the case, and I think it's a very good precedent, because if you read the whole story I've been following up, those guys to be, we have very big careers in the rugby, we are celebrities, so we are untouchables. It's like the lady agreed that, and I think it's up to ladies to check the things they are involving themselves with, these people who pretend to be celebrities or who are considered to be celebrities, because some of them are very queer and bad behaviors. I think it's very good they are acting upon them. I think it's a good precedent. These cases of sexual assault, sexual molestation, the court system in Kenya should be very strict on that.
Kigan.
I really hope that the lady gets justice. But it is very disheartening that this story became looked upon because of the social media uproar. And I am wondering how many girls and boys out there have raped and molested who didn't get the chance of their story being put out there on the social media and gather the storm that this has gathered. So that indicates and shows us that we have a lot to do. And you know, rape is something is very critical, and you know, because people look at it like, when I go out there, it's shame, you know, so people tend to stick in with it so much. So there has to be a lot of sensitization to our young people, that when something like this happens, or an attempt to something like this happens, please speak up. It is no longer shame, it is because of your safety. And I want to urge my fellow young people that please let us check the people we stay around with. Are they safe people? Are they are they, what intentions do they have? Yeah.
The guys said they had agreed on this thing.
It's always like that. It's always consensual, where the guy knows he's made the mistake, you know. And I'm not only blaming the guys, but in such a case, the woman is really the victim per se. You know, she's there, she's helpless, she can do nothing. But the men ride on this thing that, you know, it's consensual. And then another thing that's always pulled, that card where the woman was not dressed appropriately. Now, where did lowering our gaze go to?
I think that goes to the moral decay of how we bring up young boys and young men as a culture, because we happen to see some of them don't have very good mentors. So the case of someone being dressed inappropriately, I think that's a sexual predator. We shouldn't even consider that.
Do you think another very topic of contention is where you have, as we're growing up as girls and boys in our houses, you find that a lot of concentration is given to the girls in terms of, you must preserve your virginity for your husband, you have to prepare yourself for your husband. There's a lot of tutoring to the girl child, but when it comes to the boy child, I don't know. Are they able to handle this empowered women?
I think what you said is about the empowered women.
Yes.
How we are bringing up our boys and our young men to be able to relate with these empowered women, the 21st century woman. How are you able to relate with her? Because it will end up, the girls their mothers start speaking to them about this. Don't go with a person of this age, of this caliber and God, but boys are just left out there. Go and play football, go look out of the kettle. When time reaches, they just hear stories from I don't know where, some fictional stories, and they are hearing their mates are doing, which end up being lies, which end up being illegal. At the end of the day, that's why we see many relationships are not working with young men who are not able to relate with the empowered woman.
There is this peculiar sort of thinking that that the society assumes that the boy child has a monopoly of knowledge when it comes to matters sex and all the other various things. And I want to say today, please, to our lovely viewers, it is not bad to when the child has come of age, has gotten to puberty, please let us start speaking, let us start the conversation around sex, the conversation around why, the conversation around the right time to have sex, because I heavily feel that sex has been misused. Sex is something sacred, and it should not just be misused like it's no longer even an event. It's like I don't know what I like a word for it. I like a word for it. So I want to say really affirmatively that please let us respect sex and let's keep sex for marriage.
Yeah, and also make it like, put it into the Islamic context where we are told that you should have no sexual, affairs before marriage. And this is not only in the Islamic religion, because we had a topic just recently, a few weeks ago, and we had someone from the Sikh community, someone from the Christian community, and also the Muslim community, as I am here seated today. And we all came to the agreement that it is not allowed. It is our vice, and God always has a reason as to why, it has to be done after marriage. It is a connection at the end of the day. Edwin, very briefly.
Earlier this week, actually on Wednesday, I was in Madare and I was talking to a group of young people. And those young people were so bold and they were so categorical. They said, we teens need more sex. And they were coming up with reports and findings and quoting why they need sex. And they were making sense because they give you the benefits of having sex vis-a-vis the benefits of not having sex. And they say, if you deny us this thing, how do you want us to survive? Because you cannot put a leash on us. Just before Munene comes in, this is very important, I want to say. This is it. You see, like for this case of the two rugby players, you see, a man is aroused mostly by what he sees. For a lady it takes a bit of time before she's
more emotionally attached.
Yes, but a man will see you like this, and some impulse is sent to the brain to trigger that reaction, and he reacts almost immediately in a split second.
But where does control come in?
Yes, now it comes.
I think we are not animals, and I think it's very a very bad idea to bracket that a man is attracted to what they see and and with the impulse, and that's the behavior of animals. And men indulging themselves in such behavior, I think they are not very good upstairs. I think in our religions, I'm a Christian, but in the Islamic religion, I think it's very well documented when it comes to sex and attraction between men and women. I think the main challenge comes out in our society, the secular Christian society, that they want to accept the secular world, take up, dress as the secular people, do the things the secular world is doing, but still the secular world accommodate their Christian, their small beliefs believe world in third. So I think that's where the problem comes, that young people start saying we need sex. Why in religion young people need sex?
Well?
Yes.
You know, Aisha, I'll go with my brother to Madara.
Yeah.
And sex is not a bad thing. In fact, it's a very good thing, because we all came from sex. And this is what I want to say. Sex is not bad. If those youths want sex, it's very okay. What they just need to do, they just need to get married, you know, and by getting married, they'll be owning, you know, they'll be owning up to their relationship, and it will be very okay for them to have sex.
Well, I think I can conclude here and say that all our religions advocate for no sexual affairs before marriage, and I think we should all go back to our books, because we all believe in the same thing. But .com century and go against that. Science is there, and religion has science too, and we cannot go against God. Now on to the next. We have on the Standard, Kenya slides into gangsters' paradise. Now, criminals funded by political leaders and business people in disregard of states' efforts to eradicate them. Very briefly, Edwin.
Yeah, this is gangs in this country.
Your parting shot.
Yes, gangs in this country mostly have been managed or sustained by politicians and business people because of business interest and because of political interest. And yes, these are young people who are being used to perpetrate these criminal activities, and when they come into contact with security officers, they are shot dead, and they're probably their future brought to a halt. And what we need to do is we do more of empowering young people. Let us give them a reason to be productive than to be repulsive and retaliatory. You know, these gangs come in different ways. They first of all come as a way of saying you've ignored us, and therefore we want to hit you back so that you give us attention. Let us give attention to young people. Let us give them a reason to be productive, so we take care of this situation.
Very true.
I think we should, in as much as these gangs must be fought relentlessly by the police and other authorities in Kenya, we should go back and at where did the rain start beating us, because this is not just solely an issue of gangs and terror. We should go back, because this is a contribution to upbringing, you know, and not only upbringing in terms of parents, also your brothers, your sisters, your cousins. Are you looking out for them? Where do they get the money? We should go back to an issue of drug abuse, because these people, you can't have a machete and just slaughter people when you are normal. No, you must be under the influence of something.
There has been some so problems that are leading to all this.
We also need to go back to the issue of community counselors and community mentors. We should be looking out to these people.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for gracing this newspaper review session. And of course, the audience out there has benefited from this, knowing some of the stories that are making the top headlines in the country. Now, thank you so much, viewers out there, for tuning in. This has been the newspaper review. And of course, now we're going to be on the roundtable, where we discuss very pertinent and thorny issues in our society. Is no exception. Now, after embracing Islam, then what? Stay tuned.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
kumwambia mwenzako nyamaza, na wewe ushasema pia.
Ushasema.
Ukimwambia wewe nyamaza bwana, watu watakuwa ushasema. Tumesema faman lagha wa man lagha fala jum'ata lahu. Mwenye kuleta upuzi wa maneno jambo lote hakuna Ijumaa. Kwa hivyo mtu ameingia taka nyamaza kimya, asikize khutba, lugha haielewi, akete sikilize. Ndio wasio mtume kwamba ansitu wastami'u hamun, msikilize ile khutba mtarehemewa na Mwenyezi Mungu.
Kuna wale ambao itikadi zao kwamba Lailatul Qadr ni tarehe 27 basi. Sahau kwamba Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam anasema ikiwa unahitaji kupata fadhila huo usiku, chagua katika zile autar, katika idadi za witri, kwa sababu wengi katika maulama wanasema ule usiku hauitwi usiku mmoja, bali ikipishana. Huenda mwakani ikaanguka tarehe 21 usiku wake. Mwaka ujao itaanguka tarehe 23. Kwa hivyo Lailatul Qadr inaenda ikipishana.
On the next episode,
Umar vile vile miswali fajr, akimwona Abubakar anamwambia jana mimi usiku sikulala vizuri. Usiku mzima nilikuwa nakufikiria wewe Saidna Abubakar. Njoo nikupiga makama. Njoo nikukumbatie. Saidna Abubakar Umar akamkumbatia Saidna Abubakar. Mapenzi ilikuwa kweli watu wapendana.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema, akasisitiza, akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipotili matukio ndani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories, ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha. Words have been, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the
Quote of the day. Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal said, "Do not follow me, or Malik, or Shafi'i, or Auza'i, or Thawri, but take from where they took, that is, from the Quran and authentic Sunnah."
Are you finding difficulty to find us on Azam decoders? Rescan your Azam decoders and find us on channel 008. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
On the next episode.
Kwa hivyo Sheikh Abdullah al-Fars anasema akiisheresha hii aya ya Nabii Nuh alayhi salam, innahu laysa min ahlik, asema basi watu wasideke bure bure. Kuringa, naam, tayibu. Wasiringe bure bure kusema wao wanakana na hawa na hawa. Kimfaacho mtu ni amali zake, sio nasaba yake. Amali ndio muhimu. Waliokuwa wabora watu wao ambao walikuwa ni waovu, na Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala akakata kizazi kile na akasema kwamba sio miongoni mwao.
Imagine you are walking in the street. You see a homeless man curled up on the floor. It seems like he really needs money, so you want to help him. You pull out a £10 note from your pocket and hand it to him. The man takes the money from you, but instead of saying thank you, he does something else. He curses you. How would you react? As well as feeling shocked, most of us would naturally be upset. In fact, many of us would feel angry that the man spoke so rudely when he should have been grateful. And a lot of us would find it difficult not to say or do something negative back. Let's see how someone reacted in a similar true story, except the true story was even more intense. The man was not just a random stranger on the street, he was a cousin of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And Abu Bakr did not just give a one-off donation, he regularly gave charity to his cousin and helped him. And the cousin did not say bad words about Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. No, his cousin did something even worse. He slandered Abu Bakr's beloved daughter Aisha radiallahu anha, saying that she had committed adultery. As a result, the entire city was buzzing with the rumor, even though Aisha radiallahu anha was innocent. And when she found out, what people were saying about her, she cried continuously day and night until she thought her liver would burst from crying so much. Imagine how Abu Bakr radiallahu anh felt in this situation. Imagine hearing that the entire city is questioning your daughter's honor, and you see that her marriage is now on the verge of collapse, and she is in your house not sleeping, not eating, and just crying non-stop. And then her innocence is revealed in the Quran. You find out it was all a lie, and you find out that your cousin, whom you gave so much money to, is the one who actively spread this lie. Your cousin stabbed you in the back and helped to create this devastation. How would you react now? Well, Abu Bakr's first reaction was that he vowed never to spend on his cousin again. Naturally, he was upset. However, Allah wanted a higher standard. So a verse was revealed in the Quran. It said, "And let not those among you who are blessed with graces and wealth swear not to give to their relatives, the poor, and those who left their homes for Allah's cause. Let them pardon and forgive. Do you not love that Allah should forgive you? And Allah is the most forgiving, the most merciful." When Abu Bakr radiallahu anh heard this, he immediately said, "By Allah, I would love that Allah forgives me." And he vowed that he would never stop spending on his cousin. This one verse caused Abu Bakr radiallahu anh to have a complete transformation. Nothing changed in the outside world. The damage was still there. All that changed was his mindset. He chose to forgive for the sake of Allah. There may be situations when you also feel upset with other people. It's natural to feel hurt at times, especially when someone has wronged you. However, holding the negativity will only consume you and ruin your happiness. As the saying goes, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Carrying the bitterness will only destroy your dunya and your akhirah. But you can choose to free yourself from the pain, because all it really comes down to is a decision in your mind to forgive. After all, do you not love that Allah should forgive you?
Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. You are watching the Sabah show. Keep it locked right here on Horizon TV.
Quote of the day. Ali bin Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu said, "Never make a decision in anger, and never make a promise in happiness."
On the next episode,
Wajib is compulsory thing, where if you don't do it, you get the sin. Sunnah is supererogatory, where if you do it, you get the thawab, but if you don't do it, you don't get the sins. And you are ready to abstain from the haram, which if you do it, you get the sins. And you also abstain from makruh, which is not liked, which if you do it, you don't get the sin, but if you abstain because of observing the rules of Allah, you get thawabs. So when you say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, you want to be among this group.
on the next episode.
Omar vile vile miswali fajr, akimwona Abubakar anamwambia, jana mimi usiku sikulala vizuri, usiku mzima nilikuwa nakufikiria wewe Saidina Abubakar, njoo nikupige makama, njoo nikukumbatie. Saidina Abubakar Omar akamkumbatia Saidina Abubakar. Mapenzi kati ya masahaba yalikuwa kweli, watu wanapendana.
زمن جميل كان فيه سمونا، كانت به أمجادنا تتوالى.
On the next episode.
Kwa hivyo Sheikh Abdullah Al-Fars anasema akiisherehesha hii aya ya Nabii Nuh alayhi salam, innahu laysa min ahlik, asema basi watu wasideke bure bure. Kuringa, naam, tayib, wasiringe bure bure, kusema wao wanatokana na hawa na hao. Kimfaacho mtu ni amali zake, sio nasaba yake. Amali ndio muhimu. Waliokuwa wabora na watu wao ambao walikuwa ni waovu, na Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala akakata kizazi kile na akasema kwamba sio miongoni mwao.
Are you finding difficulty to find us on Azam decoders? Rescan your Azam decoders and find us on channel 008. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Mtu ameingia takanyamaza kimya asikize khutba, hasa kama lugha haielewi akasikilize. Ndio wasio mtume kwamba ansitu wastami'u la'allakum turhamun, usikilize ile khutba mtarehemiwa na Mwenyezi Mungu.
Kuna wale ambao itikadi zao kwamba Lailatul Qadr ni tarehe 27 basi. Wanasahau kwamba Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam anasema ikiwa unahitaji kupata fadhila huu usiku, chagua katika zile autar, katika idadi za wiki.
Msisikie mtu hapa.
But you are getting it.
But I'm not getting you. So please, kama mkikuwa na questions online mniambie. Exactly. I can get access. I'm okay.
Ameanza kwa
simu. Utaangalia YouTube? Utaweza kuangalia comments?
Yes.
Sheikh ataingia statement ya pili.
Ataingia
baadaye.
Ameingia sasa ama hajaingia?
Hajaja.
Unapata Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. Welcome to the round table with Shahada, where we discuss very thorny and pertinent issues in our society. And as I said, this day is no exception. Now, after the Shahada, after embracing Islam, what next? It is indeed a very extremely, amazing moment when you see someone just join in the right path and get closer to God. But after embracing Islam, what is next? What are their challenges, and how did the Muslim community react to this new Muslim? And of course, to put this into perspective, I have amazing people here on set. I have Abdallah Aslam, and I'd just like to acknowledge and really appreciate you. He came all the way from Garissa. He's originally from Limuru, came all the way from Garissa to share his story and his plight, to educate people out there on what Rivatees go through. And of course, our very phenomenal lady in the Muslim society, who's also a Rivatee. She reverted to Islam 15 years ago, and she goes by the name Mariam Kibunja. Thank you so much for coming here today to share your story.
You're welcome.
Now let's start with you, Mariam Kibunja. Tell us your story, into embracing this.
My story is not so dramatic, but...
Arivat's story is dramatic.
Mine is no. I hear some more dramatic stories than mine.
Okay.
But mine is a combination of many things. First, I have Muslim relatives. Secondly, I had Muslim friends.
Okay.
But is there anything in these two groups that made me intellectually attracted or spiritually attracted to Islam? No, except for their good food. That first part. Then in 1997, a cousin of mine introduced me to Ahmed Didat. And I listened, where Ahmed Didat was speaking. And that's the first time a flea was put in my ear. But did I revert? No. Then 2011, September 11, and I started going to the internet just to find out what's happening. What is this? What is all this thing about Osama bin Laden? Who is he? And why would he want to do something like this? And the more I'm searching the internet, the more I'm that is conflicting with what I feel inside. And at one point I stopped going to the internet because now I didn't want to again. So I still didn't revert. Around 2003, I think so, 2011 was when? Okay, 2003. A friend of mine came to visit. She came to visit me, and she had a book with her. And I asked her, what are you doing with this Islamic book? And she told me, no, my sister is interested in Islam, and a friend of mine gave it to me from the office. And what was the book? What is the name of the book? Towards Understanding Islam, by somebody dude or something. So what happened is that day, she forgot the book in my house, and she went. So in the middle of the night, when I woke up to go and help myself, I see this book. I said, oh, she didn't see the book. Then I went back to the bedroom. Decided, let me go take the book and just see there. I read that book. I finished it. And when I finished, no.
Oh my.
Because I was scared of what I found inside there, because now really telling me, this is the thing to do. But this was so scaring for me. I threw it out of the window. Then in the morning, when the morning came, I went and collected it and brought it back. So it's around that time that I thought, I'm convicted. But how do I go about because I had read a lot on the internet, I decided to say the Shahada by myself. But then something told me this is not enough. So I was living in Buruburu, so I decided, let me go to Umoja Mosque and just tell them.
Yeah.
And I walked to Umoja Mosque. Actually, I walked because I was excited. So I sat there and I told my mom what was happening, and you just want to say it? Yes, so say it again. So I said it again. And then when I finished, he looked at me, he said, it's over. It's over?
It just happened like that.
Yeah, and he told me, yes, it's over. I said, what about? So what other thing? I told him, someone had told me that when you become a Muslim, utachapwa na a whole crater, you know, they'll hit you with it, and then take you to the bathroom. And
like something like baptism.
yes, and guess what? I was so ready for it. Me, I didn't mind. Those my eyes, watch as in the chapel. I'm convinced, you know, I'm so convinced. I'll never forget, the Imam looked at me and just laughed. Yeah. He laughed, nothing like that. What do you mean, nothing like that? When I was going, the information that come from a Christian to actually not come from a Muslim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is probably the misconception.
So that just goes to show what they think.
Yes,
that
was a misconception, but I had believed it. But so that he gave me some books and went home, read all of them. And the next day I woke up, I needed more. And there started my journey. I wanted more, and more wasn't there at that particular moment. So I made a few phone calls to the radio station that was, and eventually one day I got an audience, and I was sent to Jamia. I came as cohort that did the madrasa for Muslims, and we were here for a year. Alhamdulillah. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Abdallah, tell us your journey. We want to understand it today.
Oh, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
First, alhamdulillah for everything happened to me. It was just like a dream, you know. I think I'm the old who became a Muslim, you know, just a pinch, you know, just a second. It happened like this, you know. It was during the weekend. I was in college, that was 2014. I was doing electrical and electronics engineering communication department, and there came a weekend. No money to go to parties, to do some stuff, you know, with the other boys, you know.
Dunda.
Yeah. And I said, oh, let me go on this. I had 2 phones, and I had to sell one phone, you know, to get that money to go to the club, you know, do some things. It is a bad thing, you know. But this day was, you know, just like immense thing, you know. Dark for me. Everything was closed for me. I remember it was South B shopping center. I go to a certain club, started taking beer and some alcohols, and you know. But this day, you know, when you take alcohol, you start, you know, walking like a drunken person. I was never drunk.
You had drunk or not drunk?
Yeah, my phone I sold it for 3K, only for 3K. Because, you know, I called my mother, Mom, sina pesa kwenda go party. Oh, for 3 days, and it's Friday. Oh, I can't wait, you know. I have to take this thing. Subhanallah, you know. I took beer, never drank that day. It was at night. So, you know, by the streets, that these chapatis are being cooked. I took one. I said, let me add another one. I took another one. I took 10 chapatis that day. I say this day it's very crazy for me. Let me go back again and buy another beer. It's very little, like maybe a quarter liter. It cost 100 or something. So I took it. I never got drunk, and I said I'm having now only 1,000, and tomorrow is Saturday. Let me go back. And when I used to take beer to get drunk, I used to do some bad shits, and I used to give my friend a phone. So I give him the phone, and he went back to the college. So I decided to, you know, have 1,000. Let me go back to the college also. I went there, and this guy, he was scrolling Facebook, you know. And I can remember this lady, you know, he was scrolling Facebook, and I saw a lady. Her name was Amina Muhammad. And I asked this guy, you know, why is she dressed like this one? Like this, you know, why, you know? He tell me these are Muslims, you know. They are ladies. They are so organized. But it never pinched my heart. So I asked him, my friend, no, tell me more about it. He said, when they go to the masjid, these people, though, they take ablution. They wash their face, their head, their face. And they say, wow, mashallah, I think this is good. Oh, no, and we left there. We slept in the morning. My head was okay, like it never happened tonight. So time at Asr time, I went direct to the masjid. And you know, in the colleges, most of the Christian colleges, no masjid, just given a room and stay there. You make your own prayers and Muslim things. So I went there direct. And I found a lady on the way. Nikamwona amevaa hijab. I said, this is the thing the guy was telling me about. Then nikaenda msikiti. Hapo nje nikapata jamaa amekaa anatawadha. He directly asked me in Swahili, wataka kusilimu? I said, no. I don't know the meaning of the word kusilimu. And I found him taking the ablution. Oh, it made my heart so nice. Then, take ablution, we go take, then we go to the masjid, we took Shahada, and it's like nothing. So.
And you had not planned for the Shahada?
Nothing. I just saw the guy taking the ablution. It was so nice for me to see this guy washing the exact words this guy was telling me about. I took the Shahada. It was Asr. And my Maghrib done. Wallahi, even today, I have never heard that voice. That it confused my head. It confused everything came that time, during Maghrib time. And this guy, even today, is my best friend. His name is Saeed. He took the part of being the Imam, Salat al-Maghrib. And he was reading the Salah, and he akatumia birabinas. And I tell you, hapo na hapo nikahifadhi birabinas.
Mashallah.
That first time in the Salah, that first time in a Muslim community, that's the first time a new person. After some days, I say, no, this religion, it is not good.
That's what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I went back. I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim. Just sit there. What I never knew, this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving me a test. Give the comparison between the Christian and the Islam side. My friends, watu wa Duda, mimi ni mtu wa Duda kitambo, lakini nikaangalia this Islam, these people per day they pray. I said, this religion from today, see Turkey, and I went back to the.
You went back?
Yeah, I went back.
Okay.
That's how I started. That was my journey.
Very
so
interesting. And from what I get from the two of you, you never planned to join Islam. It was just that compelling reason, like, you wanted to search more and more, and you got yourself in that, position.
I was searching, personally, I was searching for God, but Islam was not going to be my answer.
What did you think Islam was before you joined?
The little I knew about it is that it was a religion that had very many rules, and I was not sure I was going to be able to.
And you were quite liberal.
Yes, I'm quite liberal and very rebellious and doing all sorts of things. Will I be able to conform? That was my problem. So I searched. Actually, I even did Buddhism. I did, which other one did I try? I tried Buddhism. I tried, which one was this? I did. And I also did a lot of denominations in Christianity. But still that emptiness, that was only filled by Islam, that was new, because that's not where I was searching. Yes. I knew anything but not Islam. And then also I didn't want Islam to cover my beautiful hair.
Now, before that, your very beautiful hair, your very beautiful body, and now you have to cover it. Now, we will be taking a short break. This is the Sabah Show, the round table. You can join in this conversation. That is on our social media pages at Horizontv Kenya, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, in the next segment, we have our very special guest, our very own Sheikh Ibrahim Lithome, to put things into perspectives. We are going to be talking about challenges the reverts face, and what are the solutions? What is our responsibility as Muslims towards people who embrace it?
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode.
Kwa hivyo Sheikh Abdullah al-Fars anasema akisherehesha hii aya ya Nabii Nuh alam innahu laysa min ahlik, asema basi watu wasideke bure bure. Kuringa, naam, tayib. Wasiringe bure bure kusema wao wanatokana na hao. Kimfaacho mtu ni amali zake, sio nasaba yake. Amal ndio muhimu. Waliokuwa wabora walikuwa ni waovu, na Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala akakata kizazi kile na akasema kwamba sio miongoni mwao.
On the next episode.
Wajib is compulsory thing, where if you don't do it, you get the sin. Sunnah is supererogatory, where if you do it, you get the thawab, but if you don't do it, you don't get the sins. And you are ready to abstain from the haram, which if you do it, you get the sins. And you also abstain from makruh, which is not liked, which if you do it, you don't get the sin, but if you abstain because of observing the rules of Allah, you get thawabs. So when you say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, you want to be among these.
On the next episode.
Kumwambia mwenzako nyamaza, na wewe ushasema pia.
Ushasema.
Kumwambia wewe nyamaza bwana, watu hutuba endelea, na wewe utakuwa ushasema. Tumesema faman lagha wa man lagha fala jum'ata lahu. Mwenye kuleta upuzi wa maneno jambo lote hakuna Ijumaa. Kwa hivyo mtu ameingia takanyamaza kimya, asikize hutuba hata kama lugha haielewi, akete sikilize. Ndio wasio mtume kwamba ansitu wastami'u la'allakum turhamun, msikilize ile hutuba mtarehemewa na Mwenyezi Mungu.
Kuna wale ambao itikadi zao kwamba Lailatul Qadr ni tarehe 27 basi. Wanasahau kwamba Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam anasema ikiwa unahitaji kupata fadhila huo usiku, chagua katika zile autar, katika idadi za witri, kwa sababu wengi katika maulama wanasema ule usiku hauitu usiku mmoja, bali nenda ikipishana. Huenda mwakani kwa tarehe 21, mwaka ujao utaunga tarehe 23. Kwa hivyo leo Qadr inaenda ikipishana.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Now the topic of discussion today is after Shahada. After embracing Islam, then what? My lovely guests on set talked about their journey, and now we're going to be looking into the challenges that reverts face out there. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.
Now, Sheikh, we want to understand in Islam, why is it that we say someone has reverted and not converted?
Ya bismillahir rahmanir rahim, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajmain. The reason why we say the person has not converted but has reverted is that every child is born in fitrah. Fitrah, that is the natural disposition. The deen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended for every human being at birth is Islam. There is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, every child is born in the fitrah. It is the parents, the environment in which they are born, that either will take them to Christianity, to Judaism, to Buddhism, to any other religion. So a child is in fitrah. So it means they were born Muslims submitting to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The environment took them elsewhere. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them guidance, they come back. So they are going back to where they belong. That's why we say reverting back to Islam, not converting. Yeah, that is why we say that.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Maram Kibunja, after 15 years, here you are today. You embraced Islam 15 years ago. And what are the challenges that you faced getting into this new religion?
I think we face different challenges because we are different human beings. So our journey is different from person to person.
Yes.
By the time I was embracing Islam, I was an adult, I was a mature person. And so my challenges might be a bit different than what probably he would go through. But one of the challenges that I went through was first the dressing. For me, that was a very big challenge. You know, as a Christian, you think you have hot legs, you have nice hair, and you don't feel like covering these things. So for me, first, that was a challenge. Social rejection from my Christian family and friends. That was another challenge. And if this one is not navigated very well, people go back to what is comfortable. So the challenge that I went through is coming into a place where I'm finding people who don't know my journey, who don't know my story, and there's judgment. I'll give you an example. The first time I came to the mosque, I came with a Quran that had been given, a translated Quran that had been given. I put it down. So and I put it down, and this woman shouted, and everyone looked. And I was so embarrassed, and I didn't know what was happening. She came and took the Quran and put it, give it to me. I told you don't put the Quran down. And I'm like, oh, okay. Right. That was a shocker for me. Then there's this idea that when you become a Muslim, your clothes in the wardrobe overnight become Islamic dressing. And it's not the case. So you really struggle with what you have. So sometimes I'd come to the mosque with my top that is up to here and a skirt that's not up to, and I would be told so many things. And that kept me away from the mosque. I decided I don't think this is a place for me because I felt I'm not being understood. But then later, when I talked to myself later, as I was journeying through, I also tried to understand where they were also coming from. Probably they have never dealt with a person of this, whatever, like me. So for me, that was a challenge. Family also. My late mother was from a church where she was a leader, where she was an elder. It was very embarrassing that I could decide to denounce what she had. So one of the things that my mother would tell me was, don't you ever teach this religion to my children, because I'm a firstborn, and she knows that I have over my siblings. It also became a problem that whenever I went to visit her, I had to remove my hijab. So I spoke to one of the sheikhs who told me, just ukiingia toa, so that you don't,
so I would,
yes. So I would, once I entered her gate, I would remove, and that would make her feel okay. So that was quite a challenge for me because she was my mother and I loved her very, very much. And then the other challenge is immediately my mother died. My mother passed on. Now, do I attend her funeral? Do I participate? And then I'm being told by people in Islam, you cannot attend her funeral. I'm being told you cannot participate. In the family, I'm at that particular moment the one who is able to even buy a coffin. Other people cannot afford to buy a coffin. And I'm sown in this religion. So whatever a Muslim tells me is the truth, and this is what must be done. So it was a conflict between me and my siblings. And they were telling me, what religion is this? But eventually I came to Jamia. I was able to speak to Muhammad Abdallah, and Muhammad Abdallah was able to guide me and told me, no, you attend. And if you are the only one who can buy that coffee, can you buy it? So at least I had some peace there, and I was able to attend the funeral. And
Thank you so much for that, Madam Abdallah. What challenges did you face?
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, my sister has talked a lot, every person in the way, different conversions, different things, we face. My challenge was first to my friends, my families. Because the church I used to go, I used to be in an all-round person. I go to the church very early in the morning, in the 6. I'm not going to church. My friends, you know, they stay now away from me. They're talking things. My own family are talking things. I remember this day, I went home, and my cousin and my Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, how are you? You know, and I say, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, let me just be firm on this, you know. Why are they calling me Al-Qaeda? Why are they calling me Al-Shabaab? Wallahi, I have no idea who these people are, you know. Another challenge, my own brother, my own mother. I remember my school fees. And on this time, it was shifting from a small house to a big house, you know. So I went home, kusaidia kuchukua zile mzigo. So nina na kanzo. Ile gari niliyotumia mpaka nyumbani Limuru, kulikuwa na kina mama, they were speaking Kikuyu, talking bad things. I've only like 1 week. I can hear them, but no, say, let me just.
What are they saying?
Very bad things. These people kill our people. These people cannot work even in their premises. These people cannot even greet them. These people cannot, a lot of, you know. If you greet them today, they go home, they will take bath several times, you know. You know. They say, no, it's very bad. I went home with my khamis. Nikafua, nikaivua, nikaweka kando ili kuchukua vyombo kuhamisha. Niliwacha pale, mamangu called me. You know, my mother was not available. She was overseas. She called, burn that evil thing. So they burnt away, and I said, it's okay. But I said, have they burned my iman? Have they burned my body, my kalbi? No. Even the fare from Limuru to Nairobi, South B, nobody gave me. I remember the mom, fake wapi. Oh, call those Muslims of US, tell them to give you, know. I remember I was having like 70 bob from Limuru to South B. I did a very easy thing. Nikachukua gari kutoka Limuru, because not Limuru town, paka Limuru town, 20 bob. Nikachukua minibus, 50 bob. Because nikachukua direct, it is 100.
No, you don't have the money.
I don't have the money. Nikachukua 20, nikaja na 50, nikafika. From me, said, I walked to South B. I went back crying, you know, what is this religion about, you know? And I sit down, you know, listening to this Sheikh Yusha Evans, you know, Abdurrahman Green, Sheikh Nuruddin Kishki, you know, several times, you know, hearing the Quran, listening to the Quran, like, you know, Sheikh Sudais, and that was one of my best way to hifadhi the Quran. Through listening, because I can't read the Arabic thing, so listening to the Quran very many times to get at least my heart to cool.
So you are trying to look for a solution towards your problems.
So that time my mother used to pay like whole year once.
For your school fees?
Yeah, and alhamdulillah she paid for 1 year and several terms. So the last time I called mom, you know, pesa next term hakuna, semester hakuna. She could not talk to me. I said, oh, what's wrong with this? After that, she used to call me every Sunday from overseas for my auntie and my brother to collect me at school. Wanipeleka kanisa. It was very hurting for me. But it's not my will. They could tell me, you know, we are going to that first time we went to a certain church. I have no idea what is this about. Dandora. Another time we went to, I have no idea. Just
so they were just trying to get you back.
I went to a certain home. Wakaniambia ni kanisa. Wakaniambia kunipatia the Christian dawa, you know. And she started speaking, you know, whatever the language they call tongues and whatever. And she's saying, you know, I can see you go to America, you come back, you know. You'll be a preacher, very, very rich. I said, no, it's okay. So I went back to the school. I said, I have not every time calling me to go to the church. So they called me another time. It was on Monday. I used to fast Mondays and Thursdays. I was fasting. So they gave me some, I'm fasting. So that lady who was praying for me, she was just like crippled person in Iman, crippled person to go in front of a man to pray for him, So nikamwambia, you cannot pray for me. Why? Just look at the way you are. Look at your kids the way they are, Can you just give me the comparison or the difference between these one? Because in every Christian home, wakona picture Yesu, they claim to be Christian, to be Jesus. They said, look at that and look at this. They said, this yako direct. Yesu iko na kamba. Nikamwambia, do you know what? Ni kanzu tu. Kamba utakamshipi. Hii haina lakini inaweza tengezwa ya mshipi. It's a design. So nikampatia a lot of things, Bible thing, Quran thing, Bible thing, Quran thing.
You are trying to justify yourself in that position.
Yeah.
And that of your people are trying to, bring you back to Christianity.
Yeah.
You chose a new religion, and you are really battling with that.
Sure.
Now, Sheikh, I will come to you. Maybe before we go into looking at, very many issues that they've talked about, you mentioned once on the show that your father had reverted to Islam. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a story about yourself.
Yeah, listening to them, I can relate a lot with what they're saying. Although people say I was born in Islam, but it's my father who reverted when we were small. So we found ourselves there. It was not my choice. And I keep on saying, Alhamdulillah, my father and mother reverted when we were small, so we followed. But at one time, I personally told my father, can we go back to Christianity? Because of the challenges again. We were living in a place called Kambi Somali in Naivasha. That's where we were born. We were the only non-Somali Muslims in the whole village. And we were the only Nywele Ngumu had any kinky hair. So I remember me and my elder brother who lives in Nakuru now, we were the only non-Somalis in the Duksi. So we were there to learn Quran. Okay, my father and mother, Allah yarhamuhum, both. But I believe they died without knowing the truth about Islam. And they had nothing to offer us except now to push us to go and study Islam. So they took me to this Mal'ama. I remember the teacher. I'll never forget him, Malim Ahmed. I want to believe he's dead now. This was in the 60s, late 60s. And the fear he instilled in me, I started hating whatever he was teaching me. The Quran was being taught in Kisomali. Alif la korebe, alif la husbe, alif la gode. I don't understand that. I'm not a Somali. Alif wahmale, be huskale, and the rest, the Somalis would understand that. And then the beating was so much, and then the other children are insulting me, calling me Abid. Abid is a slave. Cherer is a hard, kinky hair. Madmado is black. Although I am even lighter than some of them, but they would call me Madmado. Every Friday I would pray that I fall sick so that on Saturday and Sunday I don't go to the Duksi. Then the culmination of this hatred was, okay, we were removed from madrasa because you would come back with the scars and the rest. So our father said no. And I'm the only one in the home of 6 children. At old age, I got an opportunity to go and study. People see a sheikh here. And I was 23. That's when I went to an Islamic university. All what I have now, alhamdulillah, at the age of 23. Then the worst thing that happened to me and made me even hate, besides reading in the history books, I think it's deliberate. Slave trade was perpetrated by Arabs who were Muslims. They enslaved Africans. Then one of my sisters, who is dead now, called Khadija, was married to a Somali guy. A Somali guy fell in love. And everybody resisted the marriage, said, how could he marry an African? And she was divorced and she was expectant. This made me even hate it even more. And I promised myself, so Dad has refused, we go back to wherever our end, because all our relatives are Christians. And I said, okay, I'll remain there a Muslim, but I don't want to study Islam anymore. But alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a plan for me. I found myself after Form 6, instead of going to study what I wanted, on the day my father was buried, is the day I got a scholarship to go to Pakistan. And it's like, go and study Islam, let me try. Alhamdulillah, I tried. I remained there for 9 years. The rest is history. And now I started educating the other people. At one time, actually, in the village I grew up, because we moved from Naivasha to Sagana, where now I'm the chairman of the mosque there. Even my wife, the grandfather, is from there. At one time, I became a Shia, because Shias came there. And you can imagine when you don't have very good foundation, you follow, you just follow. And as is the Sheikh of Mama Fatuma, called Sheikh Ali Al-Awsat. By then he was working with the Bilal Muslim Mission. He taught me a little bit of Shiism. Again, confusion. But alhamdulillah, 1984, I got a chance, went to Pakistan. All what I have now is... So I understand the challenges. But what do you expect? What do you expect? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَنْ تَرْضَى أَنْكَ الْيَهُودُ وَلَا النَّصَارَى حَتَّى تَتَّبِعَ مِلَّتَهُمْ. And they will not be happy with you, the Jews and the Christians, until you follow their millah. If you leave their millah, these are the challenges that you're going to get. I understand also being denounced by your relatives. Like we were denounced by our relatives. To date, they see us as strangers, actually. And you also about being said the religion of killers. My relatives, some of them who think that I don't understand the language because they see me more of our ear. They say it, that you people joined the religion of the killers. It is expected. For me, the biggest challenge is this. You have moved now to another community. If we would if the Muslims would accept, more accepting to the rivers, more accommodative to the rivers, I think it would lessen the pain. But now, you've left your people there, you've come here, you're not fully appreciated here, we have a problem. So my appeal to the Muslims out there is that treat the rivers with caution and know that this is hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hidayah, if you listen to them and listen to my father never planted it, we never planted it. It is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to praise Allah that Allah has guided these people. Treat them. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us. There is a person who actually went and told the Prophet, I want to become a Muslim, but there is one thing I'm not going to leave. Zina. I want to continue doing zina. I'm sure if they came to a sheikh today, say, what? But the Prophet said, no problem, become a Muslim. Then, after he had reverted to Islam, he asked him, are you happy if anybody did it with your mother? No, sister. No. With your daughter? No. Okay. With whose wife or whom or mother do you want to do it? Say, okay, I will not do it. That is hikmah. This Badawi went to the mosque and he peed there. He thought this is the toilet. The Sahabas wanted to beat him. The Prophet said, no, let him finish. After he had finished, he told the Sahabas, clean the place. This guy became a very strong Muslim. He didn't know. Like now, somebody shouted at Maryam just because she had placed the Mus'haf on the ground. Is it a big issue? Is it such a big issue? It's not a big issue. So accept this person. Again, attending functions by your relatives. You're not going there to worship. You're just going to attend there. You're supposed to do everything to them, except now worship with them. You're supposed to continue respecting them and show them what Islam teaches you about relatives, silatul rahm, how you're supposed to teach your relatives. So we have a challenge here, especially, I will not blame them for rejecting you, because that is expected. But I would blame us, the Muslim community, for not understanding this person and taking them gradually through this process. It's not easy. There is a cultural shock, like the dress code and the rest. That's a shock. Today I keep on wondering, if I wasn't a Muslim today and I was to revert to Islam today, the kind of shock I would meet there. So we need to understand, appreciate them, and take them slowly, gradually through that process.
Now, Sheikh, thank you so much for that. We've all spoke about our challenges. And before we take a break, I just want to read some of the comments coming in. So, Nazlin, who is a revert, says, somebody asked me why I'm black and I'm saying I'm a Muslim. Another thing is somebody said she won't greet me or eat my food because of using the lota. I think it's the kibuyu, yeah, in the toilet. And another thing, someone asked me if I will be calling them kafir. Then also another comment coming in from Abdallah is, I think there's a certain sect of Muslims that completely make them outcasts and refuse to let them in because they have had a different faith. It starts with making them feel unwelcome, refusing to interact with them, and refusing their children to get married to them. Honestly, I think it's a damn shame when they have more love for the religion than some of us born into it. And the last comment is from Muhammad. He says, I see these people not guided through, and most of them go back to how they were because people don't help them and know the deen more, and some even complicate things for them. So we will be taking a short break and we'll be right back. Remember, you can contribute to this topic of discussion on our social media platforms, that is at Horizontv Kenya on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode.
Kwa hivyo Sheikh Abdullah al-Fars anasema akiisheresha hii aya ya Nabii Nuh alayhi salam, innahu laysa min ahlik, asema basi watu wasideke bure bure. Naam, tayib, wasiringe bure bure kusema wao wanatokana na hawa na hao. Kimfaacho mtu ni amali zake, sio nasaba yake. Amali ndio muhimu bora na watu wao ambao walikuwa ni waovu, na Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala akakata kizazi kile na akasema kwamba sio miongoni mwao.
On the next episode.
Wajib is compulsory thing, where if you don't do it, you get the sin. Sunnah is supererogatory, where if you do it, you get the thawab, but if you don't do it, you don't get the sins. And you are ready to abstain from the haram, which if you do it, you get the sins. And you also abstain from makruh, which is not liked, which if you do it, you don't get the sin, but if you abstain because of observing the rules of Allah, you get thawabs. So when you say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, you want to be among this group.
On the next episode. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Welcome back to the show. This is the Sabah show and this is the roundtable with me, Aisha Khan, where we discuss very pertinent and thorny issues in our society. Now today the topic of discussion is after Shahada. After embracing Islam, then what? We have looked at the journeys, we have looked at the challenges, and now we want to look at the solutions. Sheikh Ibrahim Lithome, I will come to you, and what we heard from Mariam, she had, a problem getting to wear the Islamic clothing, and then again when you look at her family now having our non-Muslim families and now reverting to Islam, how are we supposed to intermingle with them? She said she had a problem when it came to the funeral. She had a problem with her mother. She would remove her hijab so that she could make her mother feel happy. So in that case, when someone reverts, how are they supposed to relate to their non-Muslim family?
First of all, one thing that we should understand,
yeah.
By you becoming a Muslim, you have not severed your blood relations with the people. That blood relationship has to be maintained. That is silatul rahm, whether they are whatever religion they belong to, but you belong to. The difference is that now you're worshipping differently. You believe your faith is different. So you just put a limit that in terms of my worship now, I'm different, but everything else, you should not sever the links. You know, that is one problem that we have. I even tell people, like a person is a Kikuyu. Now because you have become a Muslim, you even want to speak with your relatives in Kiswahili. You're still a Kikuyu. Talk to them in Kiswahili, in Kikuyu, in their language. If you're a Luo. And I like Mariam Kivunja, she's maintained that name, Kivunja, which is very good. Let people know there that I am a Kikuyu, I am a Masai, and I am a Muslim. What is your second name? Asram. Yeah. What about, you have a Kikuyu name? Kamau should be there. Kamau should remain there. Being Abdallah does not now, it's not in conflict with you being a Kamau. Actually, it's a plus. Let the world know there that this religion is not only for Somalis, Wahindis kama wewe na wengine, it is for everybody. So that is one thing. Don't sever the blood ties. Yeah. Then you should know that this, you know, when like Mariam, the way you are treated by that lady who shouted at you, try to understand them also. I did. Because they do not know your journey. Don't expect everybody to know your journey. But the biggest burden, and where we need actually to work on, is the Muslim community. Before you judge somebody, try to understand them. And again, use hikmah. Don't just assume that this person knows. Begin from the point of view, this person does not know. And the teachings of Islam are very clear about how to correct somebody. A person is not praying the right way. Do you shout at that person? A person makes a mistake when praying or when reciting the Quran. Do you shout at them? If you call them aside, you will understand their journey. You will understand where they've come from. So I want to appeal, because the biggest burden is on us, the Muslim community. We need to take our time and also use the wisdom taught by the Prophet ﷺ in correcting a person so that we don't give them a shock. We need to do that. Then we need also to think about teaching them Islam. I keep on wondering, if a person reverts to Islam today, you have to begin with understanding Tahara. Because without Tahara, you cannot go, you cannot perform Salah, about the Quran and the rest. They need a lot of time, they need a lot of guidance. We need institutions. I'm happy here in Jamia, for the rivers, we have that center. But many people, the moment it ends with the Shahada, you take the Shahada and you find that you're on your own. You know, you fall in the wrong hands. And that's why my brother here said somebody was calling him Al-Shabaab. I have to explain that. It's because we've had suspects who are rivets, okay? Now, because of the profiling, and I want again to correct the world out there, not every rivet becomes a Muslim because of joining Al-Shabaab, which is wrong also. The reason why they are being called Al-Shabaab is that we've had several cases, like Buire and others, who reverted and then they were found in this, even the White Widow, you know. So we need to understand that. Now for the revert themselves, they have to know there is a price to pay for this big hidayah, because this is hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the price is that don't expect your family to clap for you and celebrate that Maryam has moved from our religion to another one. Abdullah has moved. Exactly whatever you went through is what you should expect. So you should prepare, the rivers should prepare them, so that the family will reject them. You'll even be denied certain rights. He talked about school fees being denied. We are having so many cases of people. For me, my family, we were denied the family and actually. Wow. Yeah, completely. We were my parents were disinherited. We have nothing. They severed. That is a price you have to pay. And you have to be prepared to pay that price, okay? But for me, the biggest solution lies in where I'm to be accepted. Am I going to be helped? So we have a big, we have a big responsibility of receiving them and guiding them and understanding them. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Now, Madam Kibunja, your parting shot, you know, what would you like to tell people out there? Because you find a lot of revertees, they come into the religion and they segregate themselves, and, you know, they have this very, you know, they want to be felt pity for, and it's genuine sometimes because family, but other times it becomes too much and they end up losing.
I'll give an example. When I was a Christian, if you went to a new church, some of the churches, if you went to a church, the priest or the pastor will finish by asking, who is new in this congregation today? And you would stand up. And the pastor would want to find out, where do you come from? If you said Buruburu, he will ask those people from Buruburu, can you stand up? The leaders of the... And people would stand up and they would be told, Uyo ni wenyu. That one is yours. So they would hold you and guide you and, you know, for about 3 months, mpaka, you know, ushike. So here we say the Shahada, and that's bye-bye. And that's one of the reasons that we formed after the Shahada group as Rifat, because it was a fallback structure for us. Because one, we realized that especially when we come to Islam, and you're not taught, as Sheikh Lithome is saying, and you have no basic information. The first thing you're told the minute you enter is, you're not married. Marriage is half of your religion. You need to get married. And Papa, she gets married. 6 months later, she's divorced. And we had many of those cases. We had so many of those cases. And that's one of the... About Rivats feeling woye for themselves is one of the things I refuse personally as a Rivat. And I say, as Sheikh Lithome says, once you revert, what is your responsibility as a Rivat? What do you bring into the table, and what role do you have? I never regret having become a Muslim.
So thank you so much for facing this show, and may this help very many Rivats out there, because I'm getting messages here and people are asking, where should they go? They're new Rivats, they don't have buibuis, they don't have, you know, enough knowledge. So I think Mariam Kibunja is the answer here, and you can talk to her and she can give you more information. Now, this has been the Roundtable, and I've been your host, Aisha Khan. And from all this, we come to learn that we must walk hand in hand with the Rivats and guide them to the right path. And there is a hadith from the Prophet, peace be upon him. He said, the best among you in the days of ignorance are the best among you even after accepting Islam, provided that one has true knowledge and understanding of Islam. I've been your host, Aisha Khan, and this has been the Roundtable.